Deuteronomy 11. I read from the Institute for Scripture Research, the ISR, because it takes a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Greek to English, and Aramaic to English. Yehoshua died on a stake for the sins of all of humanity over 2,000 years ago, and Yah is a very jealous El. He's so jealous that he doesn't even want the names of idols or mighty ones to come to our lips. Yah is the Elohim of the heavens of the earth, the first and the last and the only, and the letter J is barely 600 years old. Deuteronomy 11. Excuse me. And you shall love your Elohim and guard his charge, even his laws and his right rulings and his commands always. And you shall know today, for it is not your children who have not known and who have not seen the discipline of Yah your Elohim, his greatness, his strong hand, and his outstretched arm, and his signs and his works which he had done in the midst of Mitzrayim, to Pharaoh sovereign of Mitzrayim, and to all his land. I was just thinking, imagine nowadays on the news that situation where Korah decided that he and those 250 guys decided they were gonna stand up against Moshe and Aaron, talk a bunch of poop and say a bunch of things, and the earth swallowed up. Could you imagine watching on the news and all you see is the earth open up, just swallowing a bunch of people, closing, and then balls of fire just come down and start consuming people? Doing that nowadays, like, oh yeah, that's Yah. Yah did that. There's no way us, one of us humans did that. Nope. I forgot where I was at. Shouldn't have done that. And his reigns and his works which he had done in the midst of Mitzrayim, to Pharaoh sovereign of Mitzrayim, and to all his land, that which he had done to the army of Mitzrayim, to their horses and their chariots. Oh yeah, and a massive wall just on either side opening up in the ocean, and you're just walking through it, and it just crushes people. Imagine seeing that on the news. I could just imagine seeing all the stuff so far I've read just on the news. It just blow my mind. I'd be like, yep, that's it right there. To their horses and their chariots, when he made the waters of the sea of reeds overflow them as they pursued you, and how Yah has destroyed them to this day, and what he had done for you in the wilderness till you came to this place, and what he had done to Dathan and Abiram and the sons of Eliab, son of Reuben, when the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up, and their households and their tents and all the living creatures that were in their possession, in the midst of all Israel. For yours are the eyes that saw all the great works of Yah which he did. And you shall guard every command which I command you today, so that you are strong, and shall go in and shall possess the land which you are passing over to possess, and to prolong your days in the land which Yah swore to give your fathers to them and their descendants, a land flowing with milk and honey. For the land which you are going in to possess is not like the land of Mitzrayim, from which you have come, where you sowed your seed and watered it by foot as a vegetable garden. But the land which you are passing over to possess is a land of hills and valleys, which drinks water from the rain of the heavens, a land which Yah your Elohim looks after. The eyes of Yah your Elohim are always on it, from the beginning of the year to the later end of the year. And it shall be that if you diligently obey my commands which I command you today, to love Yah your Elohim and to serve him with all your heart and with all your being. Then I shall give you the rain of your land in its season, the early rain and the later rain, and you shall gather in your grain, and your new wine and your oil, and you shall give grass in your and I shall give grass in your fields and your livestock, and you shall eat and be satisfied. Guard yourselves lest your heart be deceived, and you turn aside and serve other mighty ones and bow down to them. Then the displeasure of Yah shall burn against you, and he shall shut up the heavens, and there be no rain, and the land not give its increase, and you shall perish quickly from the good land which Yah is giving you. Excuse me. And you shall rise up with, and you shall lay up these words of mine in your heart and in your being, and shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes, and you shall teach them to your children, speaking of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and then you rise up, and shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates, so that your days and the days of your children are increased on the soil of which Yah swore to your fathers to give them, as the days of the heavens on the earth. For if you diligently guard all these commands which I command you to do it, to love Yah your Elohim, to walk in all his ways, and to cling to him, then Yah shall drive out all these nations before you, and you shall dispossess greater and stronger nations than you. Every place on which the sole of your foot treads is yours, from the wilderness and Lebanon, from the river Euphrates, Euphrates, even to the western sea is your border. No man shall stand against you. Yah your Elohim shall put the dread of you and the fear of you upon all the land where you tread, as he has spoken to you. See, I am setting before you today a blessing and a curse. The blessing, when you obey the commands of Yah your Elohim, which I command you today, and the curse, if you do not obey the commands of Yah your Elohim, but turn aside from the way which I command you today, to go after other mighty ones which you have not known. And it shall be, when Yah your Elohim has brought you into the land which you go to possess, that you shall put the blessing on Mount Gerizim, Gerizim, and the curse on Mount Ebal, E with a half a check mark, Y, B with a line underneath of it, AL. They, excuse me, they are not beyond the Jordan toward the setting sun, in the land of the Canaanites who dwell in the desert plain. Or sorry, it says, are they not beyond the Jordan toward the setting sun, in the land of the Canaanites who dwell in the desert plain opposite Gilgal, Gilgal, beside the terebinth trees of Morah? Terebinth is Terebinth, trees of Morah, Moreh. For you are passing over the Jordan to go in to possess the land which Yah your Elohim is giving you, and you shall possess it and dwell in it, and shall guard to do all the laws and right rulings which I am setting before you today. How many times? How many times I've read it? Excuse me. How many times I've read it in here where it tells us to guard his commands and all his laws and all his right rulings all the time, and the Bible does not contradict itself, no matter how many people want to believe that. So when it says do not eat unclean meats, it doesn't mean you can go about eating unclean meats, because some scriptures read it, or it said it in there when it didn't say that at all. It was talking about Jews or Gentiles or something like that. You have to read the whole thing, not just pieces of it.